All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new edition of the MEAC More with your host, Chris Stevens. Hopefully you all are doing well out there. And as you can see, I have two very special guests on the screen with me today. I have MEAC Volleyball Player of the Year, TK Stafford, and Ahzhi Coleman of the MEAC Volleyball Champion, Coppin State Eagles. Ladies, thanks for joining us. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
We're good. Thanks for stopping by. And so this is the second championship for y'all in 3 years. And it seems like, how many did you guys lose? Like one volleyball match this year? I mean, one conference match, or that was it?
Just one. Mm-hmm.
Just one. So, what was the attitude of this team coming into the season, and how were you able to be so successful? From start to finish in the MEAC.
TK, you want me to answer, or you got it? Hold on, T. Can we hear you?
Yeah, I think you got a mute going on, or maybe. Yeah, we can't hear you. Nah. Oh man, we're live. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So if Ahzhi wants to take it,
yeah. It's okay. I'll take it.
All right.
I think our mindset coming into the season was kind of just, we want to win. At the end of the day, every practice, every lift, it was just the same. We're gonna win. We're here for a championship. And so I think that when you have 18 girls that have the same mindset and they want the same thing and they're hungry for the same thing, you have a great outcome, which is winning that MEAC championship.
And when you talk about, that hunger and that mindset, you obviously have a non-conference schedule before, MEAC play begins. How did that schedule prepare you guys for conference play, knowing that it was going to be, a dogfight from start to finish?
I mean, we're playing some good teams. We're playing West Virginia. We played Bethune. We played NCAT. So I think really just playing some girls that, what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, some of those girls have like 6 foot plus, so we're not going to, and MEAC is not super tall, so we're playing against girls that are 6 foot plus. I mean, and we're able to get around them when we're swinging and we're able to dig them. I mean,
yeah.
MEAC, and that's, yeah.
Yeah, we always usually have the toughest non-conference schedule compared to the rest of MEAC. So like I said, we want to play against different competition. We want to see and get different looks for our hitters, like hitting around a bigger block. So that way when we get into the MEAC and conference, okay, we know what to do. And now we can score like more easily. So.
And just having the conference tournament at home this year, just how comforting was that for you all? Obviously, Delaware State has had the that's my alma mater, by the way. They've had two. Oh man, see, I was joking when the season began. I said they ain't never gonna let us host a MEAC volleyball tournament again. Never. I already knew that. I already knew that ship had sailed. But just for respect to y'all, just how comforting was it to know that you could sleep in your dorms or campus apartments, come over to the gym, which is probably the best gym in the MEAC, by the way. I love the way y'all's gym is laid out.
Thank you. Finally, somebody appreciates it. I think that's the same thing. I'm glad we hosted it. I mean, look, I've been saying it. I think our gym, our arena is really nice. We have ESPN Plus for every game, which I think was a great thing. You get to see every round of the tournament. But like you said, too, I think it's just also amazing that, like, we get to sleep in our own bed before each game. It allows us to have, like, a routine instead of, like, being in the hotel room, waking up and doing, like, waking up earlier. Like, I just think, like, it just gave us the advantage, too. Like, our fans were in there and we just had a lot. So, all of that just plays into it.
And we are joined also by the coach of this championship crew, head coach Tim Walsh. Coach Walsh, thanks for taking the time. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. So what was your message to this team at the start of the season? Because they really went through this MEAC schedule like a buzzsaw. Were you anticipating this team would be as good as they were in conference play?
I knew we were going to be good. I knew that we were going to be in the championship game. But I just needed them to believe in themselves. We had some high highs, some low lows, and we lost to some teams this season that we shouldn't have lost to. But I think overall, everyone understood the message. And at the end of the day, it was like, we have to get better every single day. And I think they finally believed in it. They jumped on board. We started communicating better. We started supporting each other better. And, day by day, we grew.
And just talk about the advantage of, I asked TK and Ahzhi about this, but as a coach, how, easier was it for you to, have the volleyball tournament at your gym? Like you didn't have to go too far, in terms of, just, drive to the gym every day, for the 3 days you guys had a tournament and just, play like it was a home game for y'all.
Yeah, I think just family wise and friends wise, support wise, I think that was better for, us as coaches. But for players, I think it's even more, instrumental, like them being in their own beds and, going in their routines, eating what they can eat and, cooking the meals and prepping the meals that they want to prep and, not necessarily going to Chipotle or Cabo and, that kind of stuff. So I think that was definitely better for them. But as far as like support and just energy, being at home is, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
And Coach, you took over this program in 2017. Coppin State volleyball had never had a winning season before. You've won MEAC championships. You've brought some, incredible talent to campus. Just what appealed to you about this job, number one, and how have you been able to make this program into a dynasty in such short order?
Yeah, I think just that the opportunity to be a Division I coach was there, and so I just took it. I knew it would be a lot of work, but as long as I found the right people to believe in me and, come and work hard day in and day out, we would get to where we needed to be. So I was confident, with the recruits that I recruited that they would do their job and, we'd support each other on and off the court and just grow together and get better and better. And I think I've grown as a coach a lot since day one. And I think my players are getting better and better and better. And as it shows for this year, these recruits are just getting stronger. Ahzhi's been with me for a while, and this was like her best blocking season yet. And the same goes for all the way down. We've had seniors who didn't play at all freshman year, barely played sophomore year, maybe a little junior year, and now senior year, they're making an impact in the championship game. So, the growth and development of these players is just awesome on and off the court, academically, socially, all of it.
And TK, you came from Eastern Illinois. What was it about Coach and this program that drew you to Coppin State?
Just very family oriented. Like I could just tell from just being on the phone that he genuinely cared about not just as a player, but just like off the court too, you as a person. So that's what really drew me in.
And you have some HBCU in your family. Your aunt coached at Central. Your grandfather played baseball at Grambling. Just what is it about this culture that appeals to you, or just matters to you so much that you wanted to come to Coppin and help this team become a powerhouse in volleyball?
I don't think it necessarily was just the HBCU aspect. I just I just really think it was just about like building relationships on and off the court. And I felt like my coaches here genuinely care about me off the court. And I feel like that's so important. This team camaraderie. You want to be in a place where like actually everybody likes each other. Like it's not just a business transaction. It's not just about volleyball, but it's just about the relationships you build like even after college. So.
And Ahzhi, you've been here. You've been at Coppin your entire career. Unfortunately, you didn't get to celebrate in 23. Just this year, what was that like? Being on the court, being healthy, and being able to enjoy that moment in uniform with your teammates.
It was really surreal for me. Like you said, I didn't get to play 2023, and of course, it just hits different. Like being able to contribute in a different way. In 2023, I was more of kind of a spectator teammate, but now I was able to, just knowing that some of my blocks, they helped us win. Some of my kills, they helped us win like that. Being able to celebrate as a pawn in it, I think it just is unrealistic for me. Like it blew my mind.
And now you guys, when is the volleyball draw again? Is it next Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday.
I think
Sunday.
So. Yeah.
Okay, so it's next Sunday. So you guys get a week off to sort of wait it out. Does that help or hurt you, in your opinion? Anybody can answer this, because obviously, when you think about the NCAA tournament for basketball, the football championship, they usually find out who they play like the day after their final game. But y'all have a week to sort of like go over scenarios in your head. But you guys have faced high level competition before. Does it matter that you guys have to wait so long to find out who you're going to play, then go play them?
No,
I don't think it necessarily matters. I think in a way it's kind of a good thing. We've been playing volleyball since August. So that's a lot on your body. And so being able to just take a week just to rest, see family that you've seen so long, I think it's really good for your mental, as well as just like being able to be ready whenever the time comes.
I agree.
Coach?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a choice of our staff. And, we sit together and we decide, like, hey, should we go right into it? Should we continue to practice? But exactly what, my players said, it's vital for them to get home and just take time to just say, hey, like, every effort, everything I've put in since August, like, it all came to fruition. We won the championship. Now let's mentally take a break, emotionally take a break. Let's enjoy it. It's surreal. It's fun. It's amazing. Now let's like hug our family. Let's, enjoy our time and let our body just chill for a minute. But we'll be back in the gym Saturday. So they get a little break, but nothing too crazy.
All right. So I'll get you guys out of here with this. And if you had one word to describe the 2025 Coppin State volleyball season so far, what would that word be?
Champion. Champions. That's the one word for me.
I would say blessing for me.
Okay.
I'm gonna be extra because I'm gonna do more than
No way. We've never seen that. Never, ever.
I would say exceeding expectations.
That's a good one. That is a
good
good one. And it was a thrill because I got back from covering the South Carolina State Delaware State football game, and I immediately turned to ESPN Plus because I wanted to see the final because I knew you guys were playing Howard.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me see how this ends up. And I was waiting with y'all on that extra point. I mean on that championship point because I wasn't sure, what the holdup was because I've covered sports, high school and college for over 20 years, and I'm still learning the in and outs of volleyball. So I was like, wait a minute, I thought it was over, and I'm just sitting there waiting with y'all.
It's just a challenge, just a challenge. We all knew the ball was in, but
okay,
you gotta challenge it. Sometimes you just gotta challenge it.
That's fair, but that was fun to watch you all celebrate, and we definitely wish you all the best of success. We congratulate you again. We definitely thank y'all for taking time out on Thanksgiving Eve to talk to us because I know everybody's got food to get ready and everything. So we want to thank you all for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. If you just joined the program, we were talking to Coppin State volleyball champs, head coach Tim Walsh, MEAC volleyball player of the year TK Stafford, and senior Ahzhi Coleman. We thank you guys for joining us, and once again, we wish you the best of luck in the NCAA tournament and enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, y'all have a good one.
You too.
All right, we want to thank the Coppin State volleyball team for joining us today. We greatly appreciate them. And so we still got a lot of program left to discuss. So let's get to it, shall we? And I forgot to shout out our sponsor. Well, the sponsor knows, but I'm gonna do the announcement anyway. This edition of the MEAC More is sponsored by Rock Solid Contracting and Development out of Wilmington, Delaware. Rock Solid Contracting handles all of your construction, demolition, and remediation needs. If you need something built, they can build it. If you need something torn down, they can tear it down. If you need something in between, they can do all of those things. We want to thank Norman Oliver, a Delaware State alum and the CEO and founder of Rock Solid Contracting, for sponsoring this show for the duration of the academic athletic year for 2025-26. All right, so now we're here, and we got one thing to discuss and one thing only. No, not that. Not that. This. The MEAC football championship game. And then there were two. Saturday was a very interesting day in the long-standing saga of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference football season. And Delaware State hosted South Carolina State. This was the first time DSU had been in the running for the MEAC championship since 2007, the last year they won it. South Carolina State was looking for their second MEAC championship in a row and their third in 5 years. And championship experience won out. South Carolina State won that game 28-17 to finish the MEAC season 5-0. And they finished the regular season 9-3. Now they wait the winner of the Jackson State Prairie View SWAC championship game, which takes place Saturday, December 6th at Mississippi Veterans Memorial Coliseum. So my thoughts on, because I've been holding off on writing about this or talking about this since the final gun, because I was there and I covered the game for us, and I felt that Delaware State just didn't have the championship experience that South Carolina State has. This is the first time Delaware State has been there because you got to remember, college sports move in 4-year cycles. So this is probably the first time in 3 generations of college athletes that Delaware State has been anywhere close to a MEAC championship. South Carolina State, this is old hat for them. They've been there, done that, got the t-shirts. And they wore those t-shirts proudly on the turf of Alumni Stadium Saturday afternoon. And I think what probably hurt Delaware State the most, and Deshaun Jackson's not going to make excuses, that coaching staff is not going to make excuses, the players probably won't make excuses. But Caden Bennett has not been right the second half of the season. He was hurt probably after the he was hurt after the hold on, let me try this now. He was hurt early on in the season. Not in the Delaware game. I want to say, was it Sacred? What? No, it wasn't Sacred Heart. It was St. Francis. He was laboring during the St. Francis game. So that, you know, he has not been 100% for the duration of the season, but he tried anyway. God bless that young man. He's a great kid too. He always he always hangs out, after games to talk to the media, and he always says, "Thank you guys for coming. Have a good day," and all of that good stuff. I mean, he's a good kid. So I, enjoyed covering Caden Bennett. And when he was healthy, he was the best quarterback in the MEAC. But he wasn't healthy most of the year. And they try, and I think what Nemo Washington's game plan was actually pretty smart in initiating Jaden Soray into the fray a lot more often. Let me get these shouts out then. Shouts out to my boy M Ford. Greatly appreciate you. He joined us last week on our Thanksgiving Thanksgiving topic, and I know he's starting a new gig next week, man. We rooting for you, man, and we were glad we were able to get you through those rough times. Shouts out to I the Watcher. Yep, I'm in the house. I'm cooking. I was telling if you guys missed it earlier, I was talking to the Coppin State volleyball players about the MEAC championship, and one of the players is like, "Oh, so what's your cream cheese pound cake recipes?" I was like, "Yeah, I did run it down." So I'm cooking. I'm in the house. I'm good until it's time for me to go to my aunt's house for dinner. But yeah, I think what Nemo Washington's game plan from an offensive standpoint was really smart, because you had to have South Carolina State guessing about who was going to be quarterback, even though, Chennisberry and his squad's already prepared for everything anyway. So it really doesn't matter that much. But you had to find a way to save Bennett for the important stuff. And also, this is a good experience for Soray because he's coming back next year because he was a junior. He transferred from Maryland. He didn't get to play that much at Maryland, and he's going into the spring as the number 1 guy. Make no mistake about it. Unless there's like a portal, an NIL portal acquisition that just blows everybody's mind. And I won't discount that Jack is probably going to look for that, but absolutely Jaden Soray is going to be the guy going into spring and summer practice. Make no mistake about it. And he did not have a bad game. Caden Bennett Caden Bennett didn't have a bad game either, except for that one pass. And that was the pass that the young man returned for a touchdown that ended up giving South Carolina State the lead for good at 7-0. And I think Caden has probably wrestled with that pass ever since he threw it. Like, if he was like, man, I did not need to throw that ball, but he was just trying to make a play. And he threw across his body, and credit to the young man from South Carolina State. Made a great play on the ball. Nobody was in front of him. 6 points. And South Carolina State was really, really intentional about, going toe to toe with Del State's front lines on both sides of the ball. Like that game Saturday was absolutely a trench warfare type of game. If you like that old school, hit, smash mouth, 3 or 4 yards in a cloud of dust, or 3 yards in a, damp turf, as it was on Saturday, you like that game. And just credit due to Chennisberry for what he's been able to do with South Carolina State. I mean, South Carolina State was never a program that was down in the dumps. I mean, they've been good for 50 years. plus. Willie Jeffries has won. Now, think about this. Since 1974, that's before any of us were born. Well, me, I was born in 1981, but most of the people that watch this show were either, not born or were like potty training or whatever. So since 1974, South Carolina State has won 20 MEAC football championships. Willie Jeffries has won multiple championships. The late Bill Davis won 2 championships, 81 and 82. Buddy Pugh has won a handful. And Chennis Berry in his first 2 seasons has joined that elite club with 2 MEAC championships. South Carolina State is the program to beat in this conference when it comes to football. I don't care who you throw out there. A&T had a run. FAMU had a run. Hampton had a run. Delaware State had a run. And it was so funny because Delaware State had Bill Collick do the coin toss on Saturday. Bill Collick, I guess, is kind of like our version of if you're familiar with how the Philadelphia Flyers used to have Kate Smith's rendition of "God Bless America" playing when the Broad Street Bullies were smacking the hell out of everybody and winning Stanley Cups. Bill Collick is kind of like our Kate Smith, but Bill Collick is the greatest Delaware State football coach of all time. He's got 5 MEAC championships to his credit. He's a great human being. He talks to everybody. He's a great dude. So it made sense to have Bill Collick do the coin toss on Saturday. But South Carolina State would not be swayed by tradition and good luck charms and none of that stuff. South Carolina State came north to win a football game. And that's exactly what they did. That is exactly what they did. And again, Chennis Berry, I'm really surprised that his name has not come up for, higher level offers. And believe me, I don't want Chennis Berry to leave the MEAC. South Carolina State fans are going to see this and say, oh, you just want Chennis Berry to leave the MEAC. No, I don't. He's fun to talk to. He's the best coach on the MEAC coaches call every single week by a country mile. Like Chennis Berry just, he's good with talking to the media. And, I got to him after the game and he knew who I was instantly. He was like, oh man, good to see you. God bless. And, he just started, once I put my camera up, he started talking. So no, I don't want Chennis Berry to leave. I want Chennis Berry to stay as a MEAC coach in South Carolina State. But his level of charisma, his level of football know-how, the way he gets kids to play for him, I am genuinely and generally surprised that man has not gotten at least one PWI, FCS, mid-major FBS kind of offer. Or maybe he has and he just don't want it. I don't know. I can't speak for the man. But I know that he came into South Carolina State hot out of the heels of making Benedict a relevant program. As our legendary founder and publisher Ken Rashad said, he forgot all about Benedict until Chennis Berry came along. But yeah, I think Chennis Berry is one of those guys. I mean, he's fairly young. I mean, he's not an old guy. I think if he's 50 years old, he's like maybe a day over 50. I mean, he's not a old dude. I mean, he's still a fairly young coach in his profession, and he has won everywhere he's gone. I had a watcher that might change on December 13th. Like this South Carolina State team looks like they looked better than they looked last year. And I thought last year's team was pretty good. But this year's team, that's why I kept trying. I mean, I kept trying to sort of let my Delaware State folks down easy because I knew that South Carolina State was not going to just roll over and say, oh, wow, we're going up to see Coach Jack. They have had such a wonderful season. Oh, we can't beat them. The hell they can't. The hell they didn't. They absolutely did. So I honestly think this South Carolina State team is more primed to win the Celebration Bowl than last year's team was. And I'm not taking anything away from Jackson State should they win the SWAC championship. I'm not taking anything away from Prairie View should they win the SWAC championship. But the MEAC has won the majority of these things. Only the SWAC is only hot right now because they have a 2-year winning streak. And can you really count that as a 2-year winning streak since Florida A&M was in the MEAC longer than they've been in the SWAC? I'm just asking. I'm just a messenger. I am just a messenger. But just credit due to what Berry has been able to build on. He's been able to build on what Buddy Pugh was able to maintain in South Carolina State. And yeah, so shouts out to Soldier. Oh, that's Brandon Cyrus. Yeah, but shouts out to Brandon. Yeah, South Carolina State was out here ruining dreams. Yeah, there was a lot of disappointed folks at, 1200 North DuPont Highway on Saturday. But I tried to tell folks, South Carolina State ain't no joke. This is a team this is a program that has been good for generations, will continue to be good for generations. And as nice as it's been to have a successful season at Delaware State, I knew it was going to be a long shot. I did. And Ken Rashad and Jared Hoffman and Kendrick Marshall kept trying to pump me up, saying, have faith in your school, have confidence. Yes, I do. But this is South Carolina State. This is the big dog, no pun intended. I mean, they have the most MEAC championships. So I'm just, hey, if Delaware State had won on Saturday, I would have acted an absolute fool. Make no mistake about it. Not during the game, because I'm a impartial, unbiased professional journalist. I know how to do my job. all kidding aside, now I would have waited till I got home. If Delaware State had won, I'd be acting a fool today, baby. Please believe it. But I knew South Carolina State was going to be primed for the kill, and they did what they were supposed to do. They came in there and played a whale of a ball game. And I think the biggest part that I took away from seeing Billy Atkins in person is that he was the best. And I like Walker Harris. I do. But seeing Billy Atkins in person, I was like, geez, this kid is strong as an ox. He did. I mean, Delaware State had quite a few opportunities to sack him and couldn't get it done. And we generally have some real beef up front. But Billy Atkins is he's one of those stout kind of, quarterbacks, kind of like Russell Wilson had the way, he's not as big, but he's still very strong. Who else am I thinking about? Who else was hard to bring down? Shucks. Like Bradshaw Littlejohn of Morgan State long time ago. Bruce Eugene from Grambling. That type of beef. But Atkins is just strong. And he can sling it. He throws a pretty deep ball, man. It's just watching that thing just spiral as many times as it did on Saturday, because he completed quite a few passes. I was like, geez, why didn't James Madison play this guy? And why did he have to come to South Carolina State in the MEAC? But yeah, Billy Atkins played a great game. Tyler Smith, the running back, had a good one. Josh Shaw as well. That South Carolina State defense secondary was like ball hawks. And that's why Delaware State was able to run for 400 yards, because they couldn't pass. And I think that's something that I think Jack and that recruiting staff is going to absolutely address this winter. Because and they got to do it quickly, because if you guys are not familiar, the transfer portal, the spring window, gone. You have from January 2nd to January 16th to get portal kids. 2 weeks. So you really have to act fast. You have to, look at who's in the portal now and who may enter the portal late, because there are going to be kids that go home for Christmas and say, oh no, I don't want to go back to where I'm going. Let me hit the portal. And then there'll be some surprise names to pop up. And then you have to really hit the ground running. You have to find film on these guys. Well, do we still call it film? I still call it film. I like to for one thing, really quickly. I love when Larry Scott says on the MEAC coaches call, when you turn on the tape. So you turn on the tape. So those of us who are old enough to remember cassette tapes. So, turn on the tape. It's turn on, even though everything is digital now. But yeah, I love saying film. I love when coaches say film. I love when Larry Scott says, when you turn on the tape and look at a kid, it's yeah, we do turn on the tape. It's just digitalized now. But yeah, when you're a coach and you're in the transfer portal, you gotta get film. You gotta get footage of these guys. You gotta, get their grades, make sure they can, pass the muster, because Alabama A&M had a quarterback from Pine Bluff who was supposed to be the starter, couldn't make the grade. So you got to make sure these kids' grades are right. You got to make sure They are, healthy, they're ready to play, and they can play. And you have 2 weeks to do it all and get commitments. And you have 2 weeks to do it all. That ain't easy. Especially in this world today where, we'll probably talk about this on Friday. I think, M Ford said we might not, we're probably not going to do another show this week. I think Ken is going to do a show on Friday. And if he does, I will join him. And I think we will talk about Chris Dishman's comments about, street agents and all of that. But I don't know if I like the term street agents, but I get what Chris Dishman is trying to say. That a lot of people who aren't qualified or trained in any of this foolishness is entering themselves into foolishness. And I've told you guys this before about, shouts out to A&T Roy checking in. I thought the window was for kids to go in as opposed to them getting out. I thought it was both. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But either way, you still gotta, hit quick. You gotta have your quick hitters ready as a recruiter. You gotta identify a kid, make sure he's what you want, reach out to him, make the offer, hope he accepts the offer in 2 weeks. That's tough. That is tough. But yes, just overall, South Carolina State earned that championship. Make no mistake about it. They were the best team on the field Saturday. They were the best team in the MEAC all year long. And now they get to go to Atlanta to try to get some MEAC love back. Because, again, the SWAC has a 2-year winning streak. And like I said, can you really count it as a 2-year winning streak if Florida A&M was in the MEAC longer than they were in the SWAC? I'm just asking the question. But yeah, South Carolina State earned it. They will represent this conference greatly. And I'm looking forward to December 13th. I am. Like, I ain't got nowhere to go. I'm gonna be home chilling. So I will probably order a pizza. Matter of fact, I don't think we're going to Atlanta because, our financial situation is still up. Oh, by the way, if you would like to donate to this lovely organization of ours, be sure to, if you want to send a super chat while I'm still on the air, you can send a super chat, whether it's $1, $2, $5, or if you are balling like Mackenzie Scott, you can drop a cool 50 million on us. It's no big deal. Also, you can donate via Zelle. We have Zelle app, donate at hbcusports.com. We have Cash App, the $, HBCU Sports. And yes, you can go to the website as well, hbcusports.com/donate. So if you want to drop some coins on us, we would greatly appreciate it. I don't know if we'll be able to make the trip to Atlanta this year. So if we're not, we're definitely going to do a live stream on December 13th. So you guys can sit on if you're not going to Atlanta, you can turn on your laptops or your phones and have the game on the TV and come kick it with us. We'll have a good time. We always do. We always have fun when we do our live streams and watch parties. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what South Carolina State does against Jackson or Prairie View this coming December 13th. So Adam Spencer, yes, we are going to talk about this, sir. Go deep side, go Pirates. Yes, if you guys missed that bit of information, Hampton is looking for a football coach. They have parted company with Trent Boykin, which I thought was a little rushed. That is just my personal opinion. And I got to talk to Coach Boykin earlier this year. You guys can look through our YouTube channel and check out the interview I did with him. And I don't think you fire a guy after, just elevating him to head coach full-time 1 year ago, because he was the interim coach to start 2024. They elevated him. They took the interim tag off in October of 2024. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna say what, Anthony Henderson is thinking as the AD, or if the president is Bill Harvey still the president of Hampton. I'm out of the loop. I don't know who the president of Hampton is these days. If it's still Bill Harvey or Dr. Harvey, I apologize. I try to address people by their titles. So, but yeah, I don't know what the Hampton Brain Trust is thinking, but I don't think you're gonna get a Deshaun Jackson. I don't think you're gonna get a Michael Vick. I don't think you're gonna get Reggie Barlow or an Eddie George. I don't know what Hampton is thinking about. You kind of sort of have to, figure out, what your football program is going to look like at the CAA level. Okay, so it's President Williams. All right. So President Williams, A.D. Henderson, I guess they got a different plan in mind. I hope it works for him. I had a watcher says not really a surprise by Hampton's move. I think they lost faith in him about retaining players since Norfolk State did grab a good number of their players last offseason. Norfolk State grabbed a lot of players. What was Norfolk State's record? I'm just saying. Just saying. I mean, and that's not a shot at anybody. That's not a shot at Mike Vick. That's not a shot at Norfolk State. That's just that the Norfolk State football team was not very good this year. And that's something that I think has frustrated Coach Vick to no end. And he's probably going to hit the portal with the same force that Jack will. So, I mean, you could take players. I mean, Norfolk State took a Delaware State player who was, I think either honorable mention or second team, all defense for the MEAC in Delaware State last year, and he was persona non grata all season long for Norfolk State. So, I mean, yeah, you could take players, but are you taking good players? Are you taking players that'll help your program? That's what a lot of people get misconstrued and twisted about the portal is that, oh my God, kids are leaving left and right. Some of these coaches like, okay, if that's what you want to do. It's the Kamala Harris wave. It's the Kamala Harris wave. That's it. Like some players is like, cool. And I mean, it's like they fine with it, I guess. But college athletics these days, I don't think you're gonna get. I mean, it was never a pure game anyway. I've told you guys the Moses Malone story, which I love over and over again, about how as a high school player, they would send new cars and TV sets to his mom's house, knowing that woman wasn't making enough money to buy a brand new car for the 70s or a brand new TV. I wonder if we really understand just how much technology has changed really quickly. Just, TVs, I mean, because most of us grew up with the floor model TV, the one that it took 3 or 4 grown men to move once upon a time. Now we have these little smart things that you can literally walk into any store pretty much in the country, buy it for about $100, $200 or whatever. Well, maybe that's what I pay. I'm not paying. People that get those huge flat screens, those 50, 60 inches that pay $500. No, I don't need it. I do not need it. I have one TV, a 32-inch Roku, and that joint cost me $100, and it works just fine, and I can see out of it just fine. But I mean, just think about it. I mean, TVs back then had to be pretty damn expensive, and in college, coaches were, sending TV sets and cars to Moses Malone's mother's house. So I mean, college sports has been a dirty game for years. Absolutely. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a period of adjustment for a lot of coaches, a lot of athletes, a lot of schools, and Adam says, Chris, the move had to be made. The football team was really the last remnant of the Harvey years. Alex, I'll go with that because I'm not gonna disagree with what a Hampton alum says. They know their school better than I do. So hopefully Hampton gets the guy they want. And I wonder who that would be. Does Henry Frazier or Alvin Parker make that move up the highway? Well, for down the highway for those guys, because Richmond and Ettrick or Petersburg are not that far apart. Shouts out to Henrico County. But does Hampton go after Alvin Parker, Dr. Alvin Parker, Henry Frazier III, or drum roll please, Maurice Flowers at Johnson C. Smith, or Quinn Gray at Albany State? Well, Quinn Gray might have another job opportunity with a color scheme that he is very familiar with. Talking orange and green. But yeah, I'm really interested to see where Hampton goes with this football hire, because, I mean, again, I'm not one of these people that's begging them to come back to the MEAC. I'm not one of these people that is rooting for them to fail since they left the MEAC. I do hope that Hampton and A&T find their footing on a football scale in the Coastal Athletic Association. I do. So whoever this hire is, it's got to be dynamite. It's got to be someone who knows how to win or can win. Somebody who can, be charismatic and sell the program to kids and, the stakeholders. Oh God, I hate that word, stakeholders. Stakeholders is the worst word in this entire space. I am anti-stakeholders to the nth degree. Why can't we just call them alumni, fans, students? Just condensing it to stakeholders. Not a fan. I'm sorry. I rant about this every so often. Oh yeah. James Franklin is definitely about to take over one city at a time. Shout out to DJ Khaled. But yeah, James Franklin is definitely about to, come through and crush the buildings. So hopefully Coach Vic is ready for that. Hopefully whoever the guy at Hampton is ready for that. Shucks, I would venture that any coach in the MEAC probably has to be ready for it, because the MEAC recruits heavy in the 757. Absolutely. Delaware State does. Howard does. Morgan State does. Central. South Carolina, well, I don't know. South Carolina State, not so much. So Adam Spencer says, look at the basketball hires. Women's basketball, Bethel High grad, P4 assistant. Men's basketball from the area. Yeah, I talked to Ivan Thomas before. I had an interview with Ivan Thomas on this channel. And, the former head coach at how do you say that? Kikotan? Something like that. If the AD has his way, it's very clear that's his profile. So yeah, if they're going to go local, I'm very interested to see who the local coach will be. So yeah, I think that area of Virginia has such fertile ground with respect to sports that you probably have to, get somebody who knows the area. Granted, Delaware State won with a bunch of kids from California and other places. But I would like to see Coach Jackson and that crew hit up Philly, because the Philadelphia Public League and the Catholic League is still some top-notch football. I would like to see some Delaware kids get some love. It's Kikotan. I apologize. See, if you know Buckrow Beach, you know the school. See, I'm not very familiar with Virginia because I've only been there a handful of times in my life. I mean, I told y'all the story about how as a 16-year-old, I went on a college tour. I went to Hampton and didn't want to leave. Hampton was really my first choice. I literally, when you do your senior fill outs or whatever for yearbook or whatever, I was going to Hampton. But then my senior year happened and disaster happened. And I ended up, just kind of like lingering around Delaware for a couple years doing nothing. And then I ended up at Delaware State and my life changed for the better. But yeah, Hampton was my first choice because the women there, boy. HBCUs as a whole, women were fine back then. These young fellas got it good now. They need to realize they got it good now and stop listening to people on YouTube about how women are only out for money or women are bad news and all of that. Get you a good black woman and get out of this game. That's my public service announcement. That has nothing to do with sports. If you are a black man and you prefer the company of women, get you a good black woman and get the bleep out the game. It's time to hang up your jersey, fellas. There are good black women out here, educated, intelligent, funny, beautiful, have great personalities. Just waiting on black men to get their stuff right. And stop listening to people on YouTube. Just want to say that. But yeah, Brandon says the MEAC don't recruit the DMV too much enough for my comfort. Yeah. Like from a football perspective, you don't have that much to compete with. I mean, Georgetown has never had a good football program. Maryland every so often. Towson every so often. That's it. That is it. You can go get quality kids from DC, PG County, Anne Arundel, Baltimore City, the Eastern Shore, those type of places. Apparently, Western Maryland has made some inroads. You know, Allegheny County and all those places started to make inroads with producing really good football players. So, yeah, in DC, of course, you have the Washington Catholic Athletic Conference. You know, you got DeMatha, you got Good Counsel, McNamara. These are schools who have produced professionals. So I'm really surprised that, yeah, the MEAC really does need to hit the DMV up a lot more. So overall, I think that pretty much covers what I wanted to talk about today. What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? You know, if you have any plans, you know, what are you looking forward to the most about Thanksgiving? You know, what are you hoping to, you know, enjoy the most about this holiday? I mean, because Thanksgiving is pretty much, you know, like the pregame for Christmas. Pretty much. Like, I'm putting my tree up on Friday. I'm absolutely putting my tree up on Friday, which means I need to get up early and go to the gym so I can put my tree up. And then if Ken is going to do the HBCU Sports Live, like he said he was going to do, I got to be ready for that. So I want to put my tree up. Matter of fact, my tree might make an appearance on Friday's show. So stay tuned. You never know how that'll work out. But I had a watcher says the problem is they're not establishing recruiting networks independent of their coaches and looking at recruiting websites. Yeah, you got to dot all the I's and cross all the T's these days with respect to college athletics, because there's just too many avenues to get kids. Too many. Like, you can just, you know, if you do some grunt work, you can get some top flight kids. You just got to be willing to do the grunt work. You know, you got to call the guidance counselor, call the athletic director, call the coach, call their mentors and all of that, and find out if this kid is your kind of kid. And then if they, you know, pass the muster, and as Larry Scott says, if you turn on the tape and they look good, go get them. It's really that simple. But hopefully, you know, these coaches understand now that even though there's only 6 teams in the league, there might be 2 teams that are just like premier, that are just like a level above everybody else. That's South Carolina State and North Carolina Central. Everybody else, you got to put your recruiting boots on. You got to put your recruiting, you know, pants on. You know, get your boots on the ground. You know, where them fans at? You know, you really got to hit this thing hard if you're going to compete and be successful. And hopefully that's what these coaches decide to do. So for me, for Thanksgiving, like I said, I'm making my cream cheese pound cake. I gave you guys the recipe before, but if you are curious, listen closely. My cream cheese pound cake recipe, you get a block of cream cheese. It can be Kraft or it can be whatever store you go to, Food Line, ShopRite, whatever. Just one block. You get 2 sticks of unsalted butter. It has to be unsalted. And then you 3 cups of granulated white sugar. You pour that in. You mix that. You mix that together first. Then you take 6 room temperature eggs, crack them one at a time, drop them in one at a time, 45 seconds each. Then you pour in 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And then for your dry ingredients, you are going to need 3 cups of flour, some nutmeg, brown sugar, and baking powder. I think the baking powder is I think baking powder and brown sugar is like a 1/4 teaspoon or something like that. You drop those, and then 1 cup of milk. It can be whole 2%. Just don't put vanilla milk in there. Vanilla or almond milk in there. Almond milk does not work for pound cake. Just telling you that right now. Learn from my mistake. and then you mix all of that up. You put the oven on 325, and then you put it in the oven for 90 minutes. Take it out, let it cool for 15, turn that 10 over. Money. It is undefeated. I guarantee it. I stand behind it. I guarantee it. They know that, even though they don't know me anymore than they know the chairman of General Mills. Shout out to Denzel Washington as Frank Lucas. But yeah. M. Ford says he's getting ready for his new gig, currently smoking a pork shoulder. Woo wee! I need a pork shoulder in my life. I need to learn how to make a pork shoulder. M. Ford, if you got any tips, let me know. I need a pork shoulder in my life so bad, boy. But yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I ain't gonna talk too much of y'all time because I got some cooking to do. Y'all got some cooking to do. We all got stuff to do because it's Thanksgiving. And hopefully you guys have something to be thankful for. Hopefully you guys have someone to be thankful for, some ones to be thankful for, and hopefully enjoy the day. Thank you guys for joining me on this edition of the MEAC More. Really appreciate y'all. Oh, wait a minute. I got some stuff to give away. No, I got some stuff to promote. No, I've already promoted Rock Solid. Sorry, Norm. This is what I want to promote. On the Groove Line, my music podcast of great pride for me. I had an interview this week with Michael Cooper of Confunction. Yes, we talked about Love's Train. We talked about Chase Me. We talked about Bay Area Funk. We talked about why bands aren't as successful today and what, the internet has to do with all of that stuff. And you can click this lovely link to check it out. It's a really good interview with Coop. You'll love the Love's Train story. I promise. The Love's Train story had me dying, and I guarantee that you will like it too. So go ahead and subscribe to On the Groove Line and check that out. And I also have a after hours podcast called The Overnight Scenario, where I talk about all things dating, romance, and sex. You guys have heard my quick little rant about that. And you can find that at my Patreon. You will have to subscribe to that. It's only $1 a month, though. I have that podcast. I have creative writing stuff in progress. I'm actually finishing up a Christmas romance novel. I am looking forward to promoting that when the time comes. It'll probably come out second week of December. So I'm very much actually the first week of December. Second week of December. So I'm actually looking forward to sharing that with you guys. So if you want to go sign up for my Patreon and check out the Overnight Scenario, there's the website to do that. Also, before I get out of here, be sure to follow us on all manners of social media. We're on the Musty app, TikTok, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky. Search for HBCU Sports. Become a level 1 or level 2 member of this channel. You can get all the neat and tidy sum of $4.99 a month. You can get all the HBCU sports news that's fit to print and broadcast as we like to give it to you. So yeah, we're done. Thank you guys for checking us out this week with the MEAC More. I want to thank my special guests, the Coppin State women's volleyball team, MEAC Player of the Year TK Stafford, Ahzhi Coleman, Coach Tim Walsh. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for so much for joining us. We're rooting for y'all in the NCAA tournament. Thank y'all for coming on the program. And thank you guys for watching. So you guys enjoy your Thanksgiving. I'll probably see you on Friday with Kim, but if not, I'll definitely be back next Wednesday. So until the next time we speak, y'all take care of yourselves and each other. We gone.